Our main focus was actually more in terms of the Singapore identity, which we felt very strongly about. So we were talking about having Singaporean as one of the race in that sense, and we were talking about not in terms of happiness index on how we want to be ranked, but in fulfillment, which is more difficult to quantify. But actually that's what we want to achieve, that we have a national identity, and we also want to excel not only in materialistic ideas or items or infrastructure, but also in fulfillment, in family life, in taking care of the poor, taking care of the underprivileged, or taking care of society at large. I personally, as I was sharing just now, I'm very passionate about this foreign talent issue, because I think the government have a misconception that we are not receptive into this idea of foreign talent, but it's not really true. The problem is the rootedness, what kind of stake that foreign talents have in the future of Singapore, and the rate of foreign talent inflow into Singapore that is making us assimilate into their culture rather than they assimilating into us. So I think the government needs to understand that these are the two key issues that we have, not foreign talent per se, but we are a migrant society since 1965, so I don't think we really have an issue with that.
I consider myself to be a digital native, so to hear the headline of the Freedom of Information Act, that was something that I really expected to see from headlines, because I like to think that in an era whereby us Singaporeans should be empowered enough to understand what the government's doing, and we want to be involved. It's not as if citizens are just out there as dissenting voices. We want to be involved, and so we would like to know what the government is doing. So I think the Freedom of Information Act is something that's very important.
The Freedom of Information Act really matters to me, because as a student, when I read certain books or articles, we don't need to, or maybe we can, like Once a Jolly Hangman by Alan Shadrake, I find myself not being able to confirm or actually even rebut his points, because I don't have access to what actually happened. The archives don't become public record, so I can't go and check. So even if he is telling something that is untrue, I can't even go and find out that, oh yeah, he's actually untrue, he didn't look at the records properly. Because of the fact that we don't have the Freedom of Information Act, there are more suspicions, So I feel that if we have a Freedom of Information Act, then people can make more mature decisions or form their opinions based on facts, not hearsay. So in the long run, the Freedom of Information Act will be good for Singaporeans and for the government, because it will encourage greater transparency and debate about issues that have been affecting Singapore.